Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel, and I have some amazing news today to share with you guys. And this is something that really brings me joy. As a staunch conservative, I always rejoice when people come to their senses and reality prevails. Here we have it. AP News. UK lifts COVID restrictions, says Omicron wave has peaked. So face masks will no longer be mandatory in public places, and C-19 passports will be dropped for large events as infections level off in most parts of the country, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said Wednesday. Johnson told lawmakers that the restrictions were being eased because government scientists think it is likely that the surge of infections prompted by the highly contagious Omicron variant has now peaked nationally. Absolutely amazing, ladies and gentlemen. This is nearly a stop on a dime change. And these things, or I should say, when governments make these incredibly immediate changes, and we're talking about a huge immediate change here to behavior and, of course, government control over its citizenry to behave in a particular manner. Now, please understand, I am not dismissing, I am not tamping down on the seriousness of the pandemic, which I know came from Wuhan, China. It was an experimental, or it came out of a lab that was experimenting with the virus. They increased its potentiality to see if they could counter it, and by some means, which we don't know because China, and the CCP more specifically, will probably never let us investigate it totally. But nonetheless, guys, this is extraordinary news. And, of course, we always want to know how the country here in the United States responds, because I was anticipating that the United States would be setting the example for this. But, unfortunately, under the current administration, who is looking to put another feather in his cap at 70% vaccination rate to, I guess, spike the football like he did in Afghanistan, which was a complete disaster. But suffice it to say here from CBS News here in America, England is about to drop virtually all anti-COVID restrictions. Now, this was from yesterday from CBS. So most legal restrictions to prevent the spread of C virus in England will be dropped next week. Well, as of today, which is Thursday, January the 20th, Prime Minister Boris Johnson told the British Parliament on Wednesday, from Monday, face masks will no longer be mandatory anywhere in England. And of course, as we just read a moment ago, he talks about how the scientists believe that the Omicron has now peaked nationally. The restrictions being lifted on Monday in England were some of the least stringent imposed across Europe to counter the Omicron wave. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you think wearing a mask per your government is the least stringent. I think that the government making anyone do anything is stringent. Now, keep in mind here, we have to be reasonable and rational. When there is an emergency, and we had an emergency, of course, we had the 15 days to stop the spread, the 30 days to stop the spread, wear a mask, wear a double mask, get vaccinated, get revaccinated, get a booster, so forth and so on. You guys know the drill. This is extraordinary news because for governments to change this quickly, there's got to be some underlying motives behind it. Now, I know this is going to be a problem in the United States, particularly since, we're going to have probably early elections. But as of yesterday, the voters' right bill, or the voters' right bill and measures that the Democrats were trying to push have failed. Now, I'm not saying that what has happened in the UK is a reflection of it, but the fact that it failed here in the United States, the Democrats are going to have to shift gears. And normally they go with their crisis, right? They never let a crisis go to waste. So I'm curious what they're going to do because the pandemic was their meal ticket. It was their way to control the masses to go and vote via mail, or I should say to vote via mail, yes. So here we see just from Twitter, which is, of course, the echo chamber of the left, hard left. And it's interesting to see UK, no more passport mask. Canada keeps them on. So these people are talking about how Canada should make the change. So UK ends vaccine passports, mask mandates, and Prime Minister faces calls for resignation. Wow, imagine that. Of course the response is going to be terrible because it is so polarized. We got vaxxers versus anti-vax and this, that, and the other. And I want to make it very clear. I am not anti-vaccine. I am anti-mandate. You should not force people. If the government wants to suggest, if the government wants to recommend, if the government feels that they would like my cooperation by asking me if I would participate in a exercise that would help my community or help the citizenry of my country, then I will consider taking that advice. But I also have agency. Not only do I have agency, I have the Constitution and the Bill of Rights to ensure that the government does not impose its will on me as a citizen. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson today ended pandemic restrictions he instituted just last month, citing a drop in COVID cases. That is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. The end of COVID restrictions in the UK just means they have stolen as much wealth as they can from the economy, dumb sheep. Of course, we get this all kinds of interesting responses. England ends all vaccine passports, mask mandates, and work restrictions. The COVID pandemic is canceled. UK, England news. Yes, absolutely. It's been canceled. It's done. Just like that. Just turn the switch off. It's all over. And there was some other tweets here that I wanted to comment on, but there's so many being pushed out right now. And it was saying something to the effect that, see, UK ends COVID restrictions. I'm going to see the fam for sure this year. So good for her. She's going to be able to travel. That's great. It's over. UK officially ends all COVID restrictions. Awesome. Amazing news. This should be all over our media here in the United States. This should be all over our media here in the United States, and it's not. UK officially ends all COVID restrictions and vaccine passport. Vaxxed are livid, feeling betrayed. Of course they are. I would imagine that they probably are, because this was their political leveraging point. This was how they were keeping people under control. This is how they were able to shame. This is how they were able to bully. This is how they were able to manipulate. And of course, we know this was going to be part of the strategy. So this is just amazing to see this now. And of course, Americans will find this out. And you guys right here need to share, like, comment to get this out there. And of course, this year, 2022, we're going to make sure that you guys participate by hitting that like and commenting to show the algorithm, the AI on YouTube, that you appreciate and value conservative, common sense thought here on YouTube. Now, I'm not just saying just for conservatives, of course. You got your moderates, you got your green parties, you got your independents, you got your classical liberals, all these individuals, all these voices of common sense and rationale, I should say more specifically. Nor the UK, no more mask in England in public spaces, shops, and public transit. End of compulsory self-isolation for infected on March 24, okay. Infected people free to do as they please. Now see, infected people can do as they please. Here's the thing. As you guys know, part of the vaxification, as it were, or vaxism, or Fauciism, is that if you don't wear a mask, you are intentionally, willfully, and deliberately trying to harm people. That's absolutely ridiculous. Imagine trying to prove that in a court of law. Imagine trying to prove that you exercising your freedoms and liberties as a U.S. citizen is, in fact, a crime. Boris Johnson announces end of Plan B COVID restrictions. That's right, UK Boris Johnson, Plan B, COVID-19. And, of course, this goes on and on and on and on. Absolutely amazing. I think it's absolutely amazing. I've not been able to, I've been looking around to see the reactions from the more pro-vax, from Faucists and so forth. And I've not seen a whole lot. And I think they're trying to keep a lot of it under wraps. But here we have it. I mean, out of the UK. So now people can hinge and leverage this themselves here in the United States to say, how in the world can we continue to be in this state of hypersensitivity when it comes to mask and the virus and so forth? And I've heard many times that Omicron is a little, is less lethal, I guess you could say, or a less mortality with it than with the original. And I have to say, and again, I am not trying to play down. I am not trying to dismiss the seriousness of protecting yourself. As of this week, as of yesterday, January the 19th, a family friend lost their life to the C virus. So this is the second person that we have known in our family that has been affected by it. And I've had family members who have had the condition but have all recovered, thankfully. But of course, if you are concerned, obviously, you can continue to protect yourself, but always talk to your doctor, get their advice. They know your history, they know your background, they know your allergies, they know your interactions. Get their advice, follow their instructions, and if you don't feel comfortable with it, get additional advice. But overall, I'm very happy for the UK. I'm very incredibly happy when I see common sense and reality, when people come to their senses and reality wins. It's absolutely phenomenal. I had to absolutely share this with you guys. Of course, stay tuned. I did release the Battlefield update today for Battlefield 2042. We got the Friday vlog tomorrow. Thank you for the likes, the shares, and the comments. All of you on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute, thank you so much for the support. It's 2022. We're going to show the algorithm here on YouTube that this type of content should be here. We should be talking to normies on a regular basis and informing the people, because we can't just leave the platform and leave it up to individuals who obviously have become so hypersensitive and irrational. But nonetheless, guys, thank you so much. I will see you in the Friday vlog. Appearing there on the screen, that would be the channel icon to subscribe to the channel, along with notifications. That way you guys will know when there's content on the channel, to include the shorts. And I'll see you guys tomorrow in the Friday vlog.